Welcome back, guys. It has been a couple of days, and we're through 2 weeks of stage number 3 for Overwatch League Season 2. So, first of all, I'd like to open this with a question. So, did you guys like this same format, or would you like me to do it that I talk about important things for the last week? So I just talk about, oh man, upsets and trends and hero changes and what some teams are doing well, what some teams are doing bad, and then at the very end just do, okay, these are my predictions, not talk about them at all, just say, like, for example, San Francisco, Paris, Hangzhou, Shanghai are going to win. Just say that they're all going to win and not really explain why. So then that would just be like the last minute of the video. Would you guys prefer that, or do you like the current format still? I'm good with either one. I'm good with this format, but I thought I would open it up so that I give more of a review of the previous week rather than have go into depth with the matches. Just in case, like, you guys, because obviously people can't watch every game every week, so maybe you just want some big picture takeaways. So let me know what you want, and I will keep that in mind as I go forward. So, other than that, we're ready to go ahead and get started on predictions for week number 3. So, first match, we got San Francisco Shock taking on Boston Uprising. This match beginning in about 4 hours at time of recording. So we got Oasis, Paris, Hollywood, and then Dorado. So Boston has not won a match this stage. They're 0-4. I see them going to 0-5. Not a whole lot to talk about this match. Boston looked a little bit better against Philly. They were able to take the first map, but then after that, they didn't have much left in the tank. Their swaps between their DPSs and swapping in different supports hasn't worked out at all for them. So I see them as kind of a team in flux. I think that their mindsets can't be great right now, and San Francisco is still, I'd say, the top team in the league. They did suffer the one upset to Houston. They bounced back last week. I think that they roll through and take this one in 4, because I think they're not in great shape if they want the number 1 overall seed, because Vancouver just does not lose in the regular season. San Francisco is now at 4 losses. So they need to win, and they need to win big if they want to have any chance of jumping them in terms of the overall standings. And also for the Shock, I mean, they've already lost one match this stage, so if you lose a couple more, then you could be in danger of missing out on the stage playoffs. I don't think that'll happen. I think they will at least finish 5-2, if not 6-1, and they take this match with relative ease. The next one is an interesting match. We have two teams that have had very disappointing first 2 stages. They've bounced back for the most part in stage number 3. I'm gonna go to the standings real quick because it's still crazy to me. These teams, Paris was 5-9, and Houston was 3-11 after stage 2. Now this stage, Paris is 3-1 with the +4 differential. They're in the playoffs right now. They're in the stage playoffs. And then you got Houston, who's tied for 8th. They're right there too. They're 2-1 with a +4 map differential. So, and they have pretty easy schedules the rest of the way. So I think we live in a world where I think Paris or Houston is going to make the stage playoffs, and there's a possibility, I think it's small, but there's a possibility that both teams could make the stage playoffs, because they, like I said, they both have relatively weak schedules. So it's pretty crazy. Paris is 8-10. They're in that they're in like the play-in playoff right now, but they're definitely not safe. And then Houston, they are up to 5-12. They have won their last 2. They're on the rebound. So who do I think has the edge here? I like Houston. I think that they're playing a little bit better than Paris right now. Um, they have more impressive wins this stage. Um, and the fact that they don't play the 3-3 and Paris has kind of struggled against non 3-3 for a bit, we're really going to find out if you can just run some of these DPS comps and beat teams at goats. Looking at the map pool, I mean, obviously map 2 Paris, you're gonna see, there's a very high chance of seeing bunker there. So that will be interesting. You got Oasis, which a couple of the especially City Center, you see DPS comps on, but the other two are more centric to goats. So that'll be a very interesting map. Houston has performed very well on map ones in general, so I give them the edge, especially in the first half of the series. When you go to Hollywood, you can try bunker. We generally see a decent amount of 3-3 here. So we'll see if Houston comes up with something funky. I mean, Widow's very good on this map, especially second point, but and they have Linkser, but do they try it against what they think will probably be 3-3? I don't know. And then you have Dorado, which we've most prominently seen 3-3. I think this one goes to 5. I think they split. I think Houston jumps up 2-0. Paris comes back and takes the next two. And then Houston, I like their chances in the map 5 because they finally did win on a map 5, so their streak of losing on it is gone. And also they really, like I said, they've been playing very, very well in control. Even when they were losing matches, they would a lot of times take map 1 and then just lose all the ones after that. So, like I said, I like Houston as a team more than Paris. This map pool is a little bit better for Paris, but I think it's close enough that it goes to 5, and I give Houston the edge. But this should be an entertaining series for sure. That's one I would recommend watching, even though it's not the top tier teams. They are teams that are playing improved and fighting for playoff spots. Next, we got Hangzhou Spark against Dallas Fuel. So Dallas is 1-3 this stage. It's been pretty much a disaster for them. It's been better for Hangzhou. They did lose to the Titans, but everyone's losing to the Titans. Looking at maps, you got Nepal, Horizon Lunar Colony, Numbani, and Havana. This is a tough one. I think these are two, like, I mean, Dallas I'd probably put at like 9 or 10 in terms of good teams right now. Hangzhou I'd probably put at like 6 or 7. So these are fairly evenly matched teams. I think Hangzhou is definitely at least playing better right now. But Dallas, they did again those losses. I mean, they lost against Vancouver. They lost against Chengdu, which they pretty much. I mean, they shouldn't have lost that one. But these things happen. I still think that they're a good team. They're just kind of in a slump. They have, I believe, the second hardest schedule for the rest of the stage. So this is a very important match for them. I mean, if they lose this, they're not making the stage playoff. They could win their last couple and still not make it. But even more so than that, it's about overall season, the overall playoffs, because these teams are in, like I said, they're very close in the standings. If you look at them, um, Hangzhou has a slight advantage. Both of their map differentials aren't great. Because you see Hangzhou 10-7, Dallas 10-8. So essentially, if Dallas wins this, yeah, they'll jump the Spark. So, and then of course you have Shanghai and Seoul also fighting for that spot, and Philly a little bit in there. So who do I give the edge to here? I'm gonna believe in the Fuel one last time. I think that, like I said, their last couple losses are very understandable based on who they were playing, um, and I think that they know that like this is do or die time. And generally, when it's become do or die time, Dallas has performed pretty well. I don't think Hanjo's so good that like Dallas just can't beat them like Titans and Shock. Um, and in terms of map pool, I like Dallas on Nepal. Havana's a bit of a what's gonna happen. I think I like Hanjo on that. I see this one going to 5. I hope, at least maybe this is just me hoping, but I think this is going to be a very good competitive series. And like I said, I'm going to take Dallas. OGE's kind of had a couple bad matches in a row. I think that they're going to clean that up a little bit, and he's going to have a huge match because he's been very inconsistent. Sometimes he looks like absolute top tier, and other times he looks feeder level. So we're going to see. I think it's going to be on the upswing. Dallas hasn't really slumped for that hard at any point this season. They're pretty experienced at GOATs now. They've been running the same lineup for essentially 2 whole stages. So I'm gonna take Dallas in a close one, 3-2 over the Spark. And we got Shanghai playing the LA Valiant. This one I don't think will be super close. I think Shanghai wins this one going away. Valiant have struggled on a couple of these maps like Horizon Lunar Colony and Eichenwald. Shanghai is playing like a top five-ish team right now, definitely a playoff team. And while Valiant, I would call a very close to like they're definitely a mid-table team. They're not a bottom tier team anymore. But Shanghai is just better. They're just straight up better. I think they're better at flexing off to different comps that aren't goats, especially over the Valiant. And I think even in a 3-3 mirror, I would still give Shanghai the edge, even though they don't play the 3-3 mirror a lot. They're one of the highest usage teams in the league on the Sombra. And I think that the Valiant will have some struggles on that because they really like the Rhine 3-3 with Fact Fiction now on that Reinhardt. And well, they've looked like a pretty solid 3-3 team. I think that Shanghai will just kind of pick them apart with good Sombra play. Um, and they'll take this one. I'll say 3-1. I think Valiant will snag map 4, but I definitely think Shanghai has a big edge here, um, and that they get their tenth match win of the season. So going on to the Friday matches, we got the rematch: London Spitfire, New York Excel. So last time it wasn't pretty. New York just kind of took London apart. It was a 4-0. Um, New York has generally gotten the better of London. London did take them down in that stage one playoffs, grand finals of last year. But I think New York wins this one, but I also think that London will put up a better fight. It will be interesting to see if they keep running Sabiolbi on the Sombra because it has looked better and better. I think that if they get a bit better at it, New York could be a legitimate threat to San Francisco and Vancouver. So London has proven to me that they're a top 10 team, even in GOAT's meta. They've also proven to me that they don't have quite that same London magic where they could just take out anyone in a GOAT's meta. I've been saying it all year. If it goes back to a DPS meta, they're right there as a contender. Power rankings probably number one. Or not power rankings, but like highest potential, they're number one. But in this meta, in the regular season, consistently, I got New York. I think they'll take this one 3-1. If there be a map that I think London would grab, it would be 1 or 3. Those would be the ones to watch for. I think if London can get first cap on Eichenwald, they can really get rolling on second and third there. So it's going to be New York for me taking that one and maintaining their grip on the Atlantic Division. Then we got San Francisco Shock back in action, taking on the Florida Mayhem. So for 2-0, Florida's picked up a couple of new coaches and a scout. So that's good, I guess. Hopefully they're good and they are able to kind of guide this team because they are the worst team in the league. Hopefully the scout can find some more players to bring in. But they're 1-15. Florida's 1-15. I mean, this season's over. It's now about it's pretty much what happened last year after stage 2 where it's like you're evaluating your team and you're seeing who you want to keep moving forward and then what spots you have to fill in the off season. So, yeah, it's a stomp. San Francisco all day. This will be a absolutely great match in my eyes. LA Gladiators, Shanghai Dragons. I would say Gladiators are number 4. Shanghai's number 5 right now in terms of just playing the best Overwatch. So, looking at maps, we got Oasis, we got Volskaya, Eichenwald, and then Dorado. So, when I first started looking at this, I was like, I'm going Gladiators. But the Gladiators haven't really flexed off of the 3-3 at all, especially recently, except if they're on Paris. And that's very worrisome to me because, like I said, Shanghai, they got that good Sombra Goats. And if both teams are very good, like if one team is very good at Rhine, standard 3-3, the other team, the Rhine, the Zarya, no Diva, Sombra, the 2-1-3 technically. I give the edge to the Sombra team at this point. I really do. Because when you're playing well in that comp, you always have a grab or an EMP and you're just constantly just slamming them, and they can't get comfortable. And we've seen the Gladiators struggle against teams that have run the Sombra Goats before, and Shanghai is probably the best or second best in the league, I would say, at running Sombra Goats. They're definitely up there. And the Gladiators also haven't been amazing when they've had to flex onto the Ana, because a lot of times when they bring in that Sombra, you lose your Diva. So with no Diva, you can't eat Bionades, you can't eat Sleep Darts, you can't eat just the regular shots from Ana. So a good Ana can do a lot of damage by throwing anti-nades in that can win fights by themselves, getting sleeps on key targets, and then just pumping a ton of healing into the tanks. So I don't trust the Gladiators to do that yet. I think this is a very important match for both teams. It's kind of like Shanghai's test. Are they truly like in that upper to top tier? And then for Gladiators, can they run stuff that isn't the standard 3-3 and still be effective? Um, like I said, I give Shanghai the edge here. I think they win this one 3-1. I really think that Sombra is becoming um, the most powerful thing in the meta right now. And because Shanghai is extremely good at running it, they will take this match. But it should still be close. I still think Gladiators will put up a good fight. That's probably match of the week. Although this one, Chengdu Hunters versus Vancouver Titans, the Masters of Chaos versus the Masters of Goats. Who will win? Looking at maps, Nepal, Volskaya, Hollywood, and Havana. It's not an amazing map pool for Chengdu, but this is the same Hunters team that in stage one, they were right there. Right there. They had Vancouver on the ropes. They ended up losing in five. It was a tragedy to all. That was also a game where Ameng became really popular. The Church of Ameng was founded on that day. So I assume they're gonna play wacky stuff. I always forget his name. It's hard to pronounce for me. But if they bring in their new main tank, who's more they run for on the Rhine, if they're running like just straight goats, if they run that and just run 3-3, Vancouver is going to absolutely slaughter them 4-0. I don't think that'll happen though. I think they're going to come out with a Meng. They're going to have the ball. They're going to have the Winston, some Orisa probably on maybe Nepal or maybe Hollywood. I want to say Chengdu gets like a crazy upset here. I at least think they'll make it competitive. We've seen Vancouver just struggle and struggle against these kind of wacky comps. So I think they push them. Screw it. I think they push them to map 5. I think they'll take maps 1 and 4. They'll send it to 5 once again. In the end, Vancouver will be a little bit too much for them. But Chengdu's chaos style with the DPS, the Wrecking Ball, I think it gives them trouble once again. And like I said, Vancouver pulls it out in a very close, entertaining match. So, honestly, I think there's some very good matches this week. There's a couple of ones that'll be duds. I think both of the San Francisco Shock ones will be not close at all. So if you have to watch like a match, I would stay away from those. I think Shanghai LA Valiant probably won't be super entertaining either. But Paris Houston, Hangzhou Dallas, London New York rematch, Gladiators Dragons, and then potentially Hunters and Titans can all be very close, great matches. So I'm excited for these next couple days. Hopefully you guys are as well. Like I said, let me know what you think about the format down in the comments below. Thank you guys very much for watching. Have yourselves a terrific couple of days, and I'll see you in the next one.